Hi, Steve Queen with LiveWickMedia.com. I want to welcome you to this video on the 25-hour day. Well, what's a 25-hour day mean? Everybody knows there are 24 hours in a day. Well, what it comes from is I hear people all the time saying, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time, I just need some more time. Where can I find more time? Well, at the root of that is the idea that time is like this. That you got 24 hours and somehow you find 25 hours. The problem is time is not like this. You know what time is like? It's like this. This is what time is really like. It's like the container. The container is not flexible, it's rigid. Time comes to us in 24-hour increments called days. And we can't get more of it. We can't expand it. We can't borrow time. We can't steal time. We can't make more of it. We get it in 24-hour increments called days. So that is a fact about time. And the Bible tells us to make the most of the time, for the days are evil, Ephesians chapter 5, and other verses that we could talk about. So time is fixed in 24-hour increments. Now, what do we do with it? Time is going to get filled with something. And in this case, the time here, the day here, is filled with all of this. And that can represent any number of things. But things always fill our days, right? Whether we ask for them or they get imposed on us or whatever, something is going to fill our days. So this day looks nearly full. But let's say there are some really important things that you want to fit into your day and you haven't yet. So your day's already got all this stuff in it. And you say, you know what? I want to spend some time alone with God. That's a really big rock. That's super important. These are lesser things. I really want to fit this in. So I'm going to try to fit that into my, day somehow. Anyway, and also there's my spouse, my kids, my immediate family that I share a roof with. That's absolutely critical. So that's really got to fit in there. I've got to have time with my family. So I got to fit that in there somehow. And then, I need to build relationships with extended family and friends also. That's also very important. I've got to do that. I got to get that in there somehow. And then, I got to work. I got to have my job. I got to make money. So that's really important to get that. Not really fitting that well. And then there's I need to take care of myself physically. I've got to take time to work out and do. So you get the point. Some days feel just like that. Not everything's fitting that we say is a priority. And that's why we think we need a 25-hour day. But there is something that I'm going to show you that may be hard to believe at first, but it's the real answer. Not more time, but where the time goes. So before we saw how that if the miscellaneous things in life take priority, if we just are constantly responding to what is around us and we're not deliberate in our allocation of time, in taking a calendar and blocking out time for the things that truly matter most, that life will dictate, other people will dictate where our time goes. And there will never, ever be enough time to tend to what really matters most to us, to our priorities. So I'm going to take the same amount of gravel and the same amount of big rocks and do something different. And this is the way to allocate time, to use our time so that the most important things do get done, so that we make sure that our priorities, the things we say matter most, actually are acted upon, that we do the things that we say matter most. Now, you want to get all your priorities on your calendar, but what I'm not going to do is put all of them in here at first. And the reason for that is sometimes you've had your time alone with God, let's say in the morning, you've had some time with your spouse, with your kids, and all of a sudden you hear this down the hall. Hey Dad, the dog's throwing up in the hallway. What do we do? And so suddenly the best laid plans that we had suddenly get set upon by a crisis, a real crisis. Or maybe it isn't the dog throwing up in the hallway. Maybe it's a family member who really has a problem, or your boss texts you and says, hey, whatever happened with the Johnson deal? And you need to respond right away. So time has to be flexible in the real world in which we live. But as those true crises are happening, my priorities, your priorities need to stay on the list and take their rightful place. And the rest of life will surely fill in everywhere else, just like we're seeing here. So as the rest of life continues to fill in, we continue to prioritize the things that matter most. We continue to say, we're going to focus on these priorities, and we're going to continue to make space in this bucket, and we continue to make time in our day, allocating time, because we can't go get more of it, because there is no 25-hour day. There are only 24-hour days, and the question is what we will do with them. Now, one other illustration, in the midst of all of life, sometimes you get a good shaking, right? Life will come along and give you a good shaking sometimes. And that causes all the moments to be filled. Every second, every hour, every minute, all of it gets filled somehow, some way. So the question is not, will our days be filled, but what will our days be filled with? And who will do the filling? So it really isn't a question of more time. It's a question of understanding what matters most. What are our priorities? And at the end of the day, that 24 hours absolutely gets filled with something. If we will understand what matters most, what our priorities are, and make it our goal to fit those tasks in, we'll find our days sure enough get filled with everything, and we'll make sure that it's filled with something that matters most to us. God bless you. I hope this has been helpful to you. Bye-bye.